this shit out of the way. Oh. So, I saw the Five Nights at Freddy's movie on Friday, and I'm here to rant about it.
Autistic is a person who suffers from a neurobehavioral condition.
And I just need to rant about it. Like, I have to. Like, if I don't get this out of my fucking system, there's gonna be a problem. Like, someone's gonna end up dead. I'm gonna end up with an aneurysm. I have to talk about it. The movie itself was actually, it was fine. I enjoyed it personally. There are three main things that you really need to do when you're making a movie based off of some other original property, or especially with video games. You need to do three things. You need to stick to the lore. You actually need to shoot the movie well, so that way it's not just an obvious cash grab. And then you need to respect the original source material. Those are all things that I'm confident enough to say that the whoever made the movie actually did. The lore was basically, spoiler alert, but I'm gonna stay vague. Spoiler alert. The movie is based off of basically the first three games. It's kind of like a hodgepodge of that. Some of the names are mixed around a little bit. There's a surprise visit from Vanny. Vanny shows, I mean, it's not a surprise visit. It's in the fucking trailers, but there's a visit from Vanny, which is then revealed to be related to one of the characters. Which, you know, it was pretty obvious. You could see it coming. Like, it's not that difficult to figure out what they're gonna do. But Vanny's from Security Breach, so we don't talk about that shit. Like, we just, personally, in my opinion, we take that and we put it somewhere else, you know? To be completely fair, you could have made the entire movie without Vanny or Vanessa even being there. Like, she doesn't really do anything. And, like, she's mainly just there for exposition, and if she wasn't a character in the movie, the plot would not have changed at all very much. Like, it's just background lore and stuff that I think, like, kind of just fucks with the series. Because I basically, like, the first 6 games, like, from 1 to Pizzeria Simulator are the ones that I truly consider to be canon. FNaF World and Security Breach, like, I don't really consider those to be a part of it at all. I don't like them. They're very obviously pandered towards kids, so that's not for me. I'm getting a little bit off track. It stayed pretty well. It stuck to the movies, with some stuff from the books, I'm sure, and a little bit of lore here and there, some names mixed around, but it stuck to it, and it was well made. And it felt like they actually did really care about the original Five Nights at Freddy's games. The things that they didn't really do that I had a problem with personally, it needed to be much, much scarier. It was not scary. I feel like what I really wanted from the movie was walking into that theater. I wanted to have, like, a reliving of the experience of playing the actual games for the first time. Like, you're fucking horrified, you've got limited time, you've got limited resources, and you have to make it through the night. And it kind of just felt like the animatronics weren't ever a threat to the main characters, like, in any way at all. That they were a threat, like, they definitely showed off that they were very, very capable of killing people, but it just didn't feel like it was actually, like, a problem. If you've seen the movie, I'm going to say something from the movie that is, like, I mean, it's not a spoiler, but it's just something that happens in the movie. Like, the main dude in the movie falls asleep, like, every single fucking night that he's there, and he casually walks around the restaurant at, like, 3 in the fucking morning, just cleaning shit, and he doesn't fucking die. Like, the whole point from the original games is that, like, you are stuck in your office, the animatronics are very deadly and can kill you very easily, and if you don't manage your time, power, and resources very closely, you're fucking dead. And this dude just fucking saunters through the damn restaurant like it's his fucking home, like, cleaning up, and he's just like, ooh, the animatronics, creepy. Like, it's, what the fuck are you doing? Like, make it scarier. But that kind of leads into my main point. The reason it wasn't scarier is because it was PG-13, and I didn't know that walking in. I guess I don't know what I thought. I wasn't expecting it to necessarily be R, because I know that the fan base has shifted away from, like, you know, adult content to more tailored towards kids, which I don't need to tell you. There are a million videos out there explaining that FNaF has gone from, like, a relatively, like, very scary, very terrifying concept of, like, these kids being murdered and stuffed into animatronic suits and haunting people or haunting the suits and killing people for revenge, and it's like a lot of aggression and a lot of pain and a lot of suffering and a lot of horror. Um, and that's just been boiled down to like what security breaches ultimately become, like shiny animatronics that want to kill you for no reason, and we don't really have a plot, but like look over here, there's a jump scare. um it's just like I don't need to explain it to you. There are a million videos out there that can tell you how the fan base has shifted, but that's why it wasn't scary. It was PG-13, and the second problem with it being PG-13, besides it not actually being that scary, it means that the audience is going to be younger than 13 years old, because there were so many fucking kids there. I mean, I'm gonna say they did a pretty good job at making the movie suitable for all ages and keeping it just scary enough for the kids, or just scary enough for the kids while being just scary enough for the adults for it to like be considered a horror movie. Like there were moments in it that it was like, oh damn, that's kind of scary, but you know, as an almost 20-year-old, there was never like a tense moment in the movie. It felt like the characters were very safe, and like the main fear just was like, oh, animatronics that can kill people. But that kind of comes to the main problem with the movie. And it's not even a problem with the movie. It's why the title is specifically don't see Five Nights at Freddy's in theaters, with in theaters in all caps, because you should not go and see it in theaters. And at first, I thought this was like an experience unique to me, my theater, like my town, maybe even just that showing of the movie, right? The movie was fine. Like I said, stayed true to the original source material. It seemed like it respected both the fan base and the original games, right? Which is really good for a video game movie, because a lot of video game adapted movies, like they just don't care. Like it is a cash grab. This didn't seem like that. This seemed like they actually put care, thought, and effort into it. Great. It could have been a lot scarier. I wish it was. It should have been way more entertaining for an older audience. I wanted it to strike the fear of God into me, if I'm being honest. Like I really wanted it to give me back the nostalgia of like the terror of playing Five Nights at Freddy's for the first time when I was a kid. Because they came out in 2014. Like we were kids when they started, and we grew up with them, and now we're adults and we want to see some terrifying shit on screen. But the main problem, and I swear I'm going to get to it, the main problem that I had wasn't the movie itself. It was the experience of watching the movie in a movie theater where for some reason, every motherfucker in that theater, like kids, I'm sure adults, teenagers, all of it, everyone, nobody gave a fuck. It was just open talking. Like it wasn't whispers every now and then. I understand that. I was talking to my friends during the movie. If you don't say anything during a movie and you're going with friends, I feel like that's a little weird. Like you're allowed to lean over and whisper like, "Oh shit, like can you believe that happened to your friend?" Like you're allowed to do that. The amount of open talking, and this was like, so I sit down. The movie starts, and like people, like people are chatting, like the lights dim, and like typically you expect for like the talking to go away when the lights dim. Nope, it didn't. It was consistent through the whole movie. There was a group of like young teenage girls behind us that were constantly talking. They didn't stop. There were people doing like the horror, like just at random points throughout the movie. I think there was applause like 5 times during the movie. Only one of which was after the credits rolled. Like there were just people like, and I get it, like you got a guest appearance from Matt Pat and that one other YouTuber who I've never heard of before. Like I was genuinely confused when people were clapping when he came on screen. But you've got Matt Pat there. So like it makes sense, like, oh shit, like that's someone we know. And, like it's exciting to see a YouTuber on the big screen, because typically they're not represented in the best light in media. I get that. It's exciting, it's fun, especially for people that have grown up watching them, and for the kids that watch it too. What I didn't get was like the applause during the moments where it was just very obvious reveals, like when Springtrap comes on screen. Everyone was clapping. They were like, "Oh my god, yes, it's Springtrap." And it's like, why are you clapping? Like, we were aware that he was going to be in this movie. Like, he's the bad guy, and like I felt like it was just applause to be applause. And then when whoever Springtrap was revealed, which was, it was also the most obvious fucking reveal in the history of fucking horror movies. Like, it was the only other character that it could have been. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, it was very obviously that dude. I'm not going to say who it was. You probably know who it was just by watching the trailers. But, like, the collective gasps of, like, oh my god, I knew it, and, like, the fucking talking that ensued from that, it was just, like, so much nonstop talking. There was one point in the movie where the security guard, like, Mike, like, pulls back the curtains, and he sees the animatronics for the first time, and he's, like, looking at them, like, with the flashlight, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, there they are. It's that part was scary, because we still thought that the animatronics were a threat at that point, and he's, like, right next to them, so it's like, for everyone who's played the games, it's like, whoa, dude, get the fuck away from those, they're gonna kill you, like, they're deadly. So we had been introduced to all the animatronics. He saw all 4 of them. A few minutes later in the movie, when, like, the curtains are pulled back and, like, they do their little show stage performance, and, like, they go from one animatronic to the next, like, introducing them all, the kids in the theater were just like, oh my god, it's Freddy, and oh my god, it's Bonnie, oh look, it's Foxy, and, like, everyone was just, like, fucking yelling that. Like, and, like, that's just one example, but, like, I don't even understand it, because, like, what I'm thinking in my head is being said out loud by everyone in the theater, like, oh, yep, there's Freddy, but instead of me just thinking it to myself, it's, like, a collective, oh my god, look, it's Freddy, can you believe that Freddy is in the Five Nights at Freddy's movie? Yes, I can believe that, actually, because that's who I'm here to see, and, like, I get like, oh my god, it's Freddy, like, he's the big one, right? Like, he's the big kahuna, like, he's the fucking big cheese, like, everyone's there to see Freddy, but he had been revealed to us multiple minutes previously, and it wasn't just for Freddy, it was like, oh, there's Freddy, oh, that's Mike, oh, that's this person, oh my god, like, every single time a new character came on screen, it was like, they revealed the name of the person, and then immediately afterwards everyone in the theater was like, oh my god, it is that guy, like, I know that guy. And I think it's what happens when you get a combination of mainly 3 things. You get a franchise that is now pandering less, or that is targeting less of their mature audience and shifting more to the young audience, which, like, I get wanting the young audience to be able to enjoy it, but the older people there are the ones that grew up with it and the ones that were probably most excited for it. So I think that's the one problem. When you get a bunch of young kids into a theater, and then 2, I think when you get a series that is so dissected that there are thousands of timelines and lore explanations, and Matt Pat himself has, like, almost 100 videos just on the subject of Five Nights at Freddy's, like, everyone thinks that they're a fucking expert on this shit. Like, everybody thinks that they're a theorist. So I think that when people get into a theater, like, about something that they're very passionate about, that they enjoy, and they see just a character that is just in the movie that everyone knows is going to be in the movie, because if they weren't in the movie, it wouldn't be Five Nights at Freddy's, it would be Five Nights Without Freddy's. I feel like they feel this need to be like, oh, I know who that is, because this is a game that I played. I've seen so many theories on this. Like, I know what's happening right now, and it's like, that's great. I'm glad that you feel like you have a very deep understanding of the lore, but just screaming out that Freddy is now on the screen when everyone can see that Freddy is on the fucking screen is so fucking annoying. And it was just constant talking, and just like, oh my god, it's that character, it's that character, it's that character. Oh, now everybody's clapping now, and like, oh my god, like, ooh, that's scary, but not like screaming or like saying like, it's like them verbally saying like, wow, that is so scary, to their friend right next to them, and their friend being like, dude, that is crazy scary, like, and they're all 8 years old. So it's the fact that the series have been so dissected that people know what's going to happen. And because they feel like they're experts, like, they feel like they have to express the fact that they already know what's happening, which is great for you. But especially, like, I can't imagine the people's experience that haven't actually played the games or seen any of the lore explanations. Like, they must have been like, what the fuck is happening? Why is everyone acting so fucking unruly? Like, it was so horrible. And I think the other thing is, like, the third point, young kids in the theater, like, a lot of young kids. And then a lot of people who think that they know more about the series than anyone else in the theater, when in reality, everyone in that theater has probably seen some lore breakdown or dove deep into the lore themselves. And then the last one, when you get like a competently made fan movie of a game, and then you like shove a bunch of, and I don't want to be mean, but this is really what it was. Like, there's no way, because I don't think people in that theater were being ironic, which is the main fucking problem. I don't think that they were being ironic when they were like, oh my god, it's this person, it's that person, let's clap now. And like, oh wow, I totally called it. Like, people just openly discussing the fact that they knew that something is going to happen or had happened. I think it's the last point that I want to make is it's when you get a bunch of terminally online incels into a fucking movie theater that they never leave their fucking basement, and like all they know is like being online and being able to fucking type in the comment sections like as they're watching something. And I think like they just like they legitimately just don't know theater etiquette or like just how to be a normal person socially in general, because if they like, you can't argue with me that they knew how to be normal in a movie theater because they were acting like fucking animals, dude. Like, everyone was talking in like their regular voice, like nobody was whispering, constantly talking. People were getting up and out of their seats, like just moving around, like throughout the whole thing. And there were parents there that brought their like 8-year-old children. Like, there were so many 8-year-olds. And they just brought them, and there was one couple sitting right next to me and my friends that went to the movie, and they, like, their kid, in the middle of the movie, had to go to the bathroom, but because the mom didn't want to miss the movie, she walked her, during a horror movie, which is, like, it's not scary for adults, but it's PG-13, so for an 8-year-old, that shit's gonna be terrifying, and there are some moments that I can say, like, I saw that, and I was like, that would scare the shit out of me if I was a little kid. During the middle of a horror movie, walks their kid out to go to the bathroom, and then comes back in without the kid, like, just drops them off at the bathroom, and then, like, 10 minutes later, the kid comes back and, like, by himself, walking through the theater, and, like, goes up to his mom, still standing up and being like, this shit is scaring the fuck out of me. And the parents just, like, both look at him and are like, sit the fuck down. Like, they weren't swearing, but they were just like, sit back down. Like, you brought your child to a horror movie. Not only is it PG-13, so he's way too young for this, but you brought your child to a horror movie knowing full well that it could fucking scare him because it's supposed to be horror. And then when he gets scared, which is your fault, by the way, because even if the kid said that he wanted to go, like, you as the parent, you're responsible for knowing, like, whether or not, like, he can handle it. And you fucking drop the ball if you bring your kid to a movie theater to see a horror movie and he gets scared, and then your response to that is just, well, you're watching this because we're already here. Like, no, you fucked up. Like, leave. Or one of you go, like, sit with your kid in the hall. Like, you brought your kid. Like, that is your responsibility. That's your fault. You don't get to just continue watching the movie if your son is, like, fucking terrified of what's happening on screen and you're just like, but I can't miss any of the fucking lore. And I think that's the thing. Like, there's the meme behind 5 Nights at Freddy's. It's like, the lore! Oh my god, the lore! So, like, we got, like, a shit ton of, like, incel, fucking terminally online, game theorist-ass motherfuckers who all are now collectively in a theater. And when you get all of that fucking pent-up nerd energy together, there is just an explosion of social ineptitude, and people just don't know how to fucking act. Like, I don't like, it's like it was a phenomena, dude. I was like, this shit is crazy. Like, there's no way. Like, this must be like some fucking temporal shit. Like, I am in an alternate reality where it's just okay to talk in a theater. There's no way anyone else is like experiencing this shit. This is like specifically something that me and my friends, like, we're in like a fucking, like, the timeline branched off. We're in an alternate reality, and like, we gotta find our way back once we get out of this movie theater. Otherwise, the world's gonna be all topsy-turvy. Like, people will snap instead of fucking clapping, and like, you know, men will actually be able to show their emotions and shit. So, like, I don't know. I texted my brother. I was like, dude, I was crazy. There were so many fucking kids at that movie. It was insane. Like, so many people under 13. And like, I didn't even know that he was going to see it the same night I did, but he was like, yeah, dude, I saw it. Like, there were too many kids, and they were all, everyone was fucking talking. And I was like, there's no fucking way that this is happening in multiple theaters. And then me and my friends were ranting about it afterwards. And just this morning, so one of them sent me a fucking video of another person complaining about the exact things that I'm complaining about. Like, that happened to us. People talking, shouting, clapping, and screaming, and like being over exaggerating for a lot longer than like is the normal time. Like, I get like something scary happens and you're like, ooh, fuck. Or like you see something on screen, like you're like, oh, Matt Pat's on, like clap, 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 and then you're done. But it was like, oh my god, it's fucking Matt Pat. Like, I can't, like, and I get it. Like, Matt Pat is like a fucking god to these kids, so of course they're gonna be excited. But that's the problem. The movie shouldn't have been for as young of an audience as it was. Parents shouldn't have brought their like 8-year-old kids to it. And the people that were there, like the kids that were there with their parents that were just talking, like, discipline your fucking child, dude. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You're just letting them talk. There's so much I can say about it, and I know this rant is getting more and more unhinged, but it's like I was walking into the theater just hoping to have like a normal fucking experience, and I didn't. And it was disappointing. And I was really bummed out about it because the movie I actually thought I enjoyed. It was pretty simple. It just stuck to what it needed to stick to, and it got the job done, and it respected the source material. It was fucking good for all accounts. They could have totally fucked it up. They did not drop the ball. They didn't fumble it. They may not have gotten a Hail Mary pass. They may not have gotten the touchdown, but they didn't fumble the ball. And that's all I really could have asked from them. But the fan base, holy shit, is it insufferable. Like, I don't know. I just had to say it. I genuinely would not recommend going to see it in theaters. Like, watch it. Like, you can stream it as long as you pay for it. Like, stream it at home. Like, make it feel like a night out at the theater. Pop some popcorn, get some fucking Reese's Pieces, and, like, sit down and get comfortable and just watch it at home. It's not fucking worth it. Like, don't. Please don't. It's really bad. Like, it will be bad. And maybe it was just, like, the fact that this is the weekend of the release. So, like, as all the people who are, like, cramming in to watch the movie as soon as it comes out go, and, like, the less avid fans and the, like, fewer young kids are there, the experience will probably be better. This video could be dated by the time like it's posted because all of the super hardcore fans have already seen it, so there will be more normal people in the theater. Because if you're that into Five Nights at Freddy's and you're that young, like, of course you're gonna have that kind of reaction in a theater. So it was just a bizarre experience. I've had people talking, I've had people be rude, I've had people with their phones on in movies. I have never had anything. I've never experienced anything like this. It was insane. It was absolutely fucking crazy, and I just need to talk about it. I'm warning you. I am warning you. Do not see it in theaters. Please do not see it in theaters. Like, fucking watch it at home, or like see it in theaters like a week from now, when like all of the actual, like, the hardcore, like, oh my god, I know who that is. It's like, yeah, everyone knows who that is, motherfucker. We're here for Five Nights at Freddy's. We know who the main cast is. We've seen the trailers. You're not the only person here who knows what the fuck it is. You're not special. And I think it's just a bunch of like fucking terminally online people thinking that they're special and all going to a movie theater where none of them are special. And it's fucking weird. I don't know. Like, it's just a fucking bizarre concept. Like, it's so fucking weird. It was, but don't see it in theaters. Do not see it in theaters. I'm serious. Don't do it. It's bad. It's a bad idea to see it in theaters. Do not do it. And like, I don't know. I've been recording for 26 minutes. I'm hoping to cut that down to like 15, hopefully. But I've been talking nonstop. There's just so much to say. Like, the parents were misbehaving. The kids were misbehaving. Like, the amount of like just talking. It was so much talking. And it's like, we get that you think you know a lot about this movie, but you're also like 8 years old or like 13 years old. Like, they're like, the game came out when I was 11. I'm almost 20. Like, I dead ass think that I probably know more about the FNaF series than any of those fucking kids in there, but they just really like it because of fucking Glam Rock Chica or whatever the fuck, like Glam Rock Freddy. It's like, fucking, I don't even like Security Breach. Get that shit out of here. It's fucking nasty. Ew. Gross. God, I don't like it. Anyway, I just wanted to rant. So that's my rant, and I'll see you guys in the next time. I know this is a departure from the original source material. Like, this is not the typical stuff that I do, but I had to talk about it. I had to talk about it. It's topical, and I just finished playing the first game, so like I just had to, and I felt like I had the platform for it because I've been playing the games. Like, I don't know. That's just, I just had to say something. Thanks for watching. Yeah, to anyone who's talking during the showings of Five Nights at Freddy's, I hope you get fucking nightmares. And if your kids were the ones talking, I hope that they wake you up in the middle of the night so that you get shit sleep. And hopefully you get fired from your fucking job from being sleep deprived because you're a fucking asshole.